So you've worked with a lot of agents now, both, with your team on the other side of transactions that, why do agents fail in this business?
So I have two answers for that. A lack of consistency is probably the biggest one. What I mean by that is you have to talk to people. You have to be adding people to your pipeline every single week. And so many agents get busy with a couple of transactions and they just get on that real estate roller coaster. And then it's frustrating because they have 3 or 4 closings or 2 or 3 closings, or it depends on the agent, and they're so busy with their transactions that they don't prospect because they don't have time to prospect or to talk to new people. And then they drop the ball and didn't follow up with anybody that they had already had a relationship with. And then they close all those transactions. So now they're officially unemployed, right? So they close those transactions and they start all over. And they're just constantly starting over instead of just maintaining. And if you have the system to maintain all along, then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to get in there and think, well, I've got to prospect today for 3 hours. No, you don't necessarily have to prospect for 3 hours, but you sure as heck can't stop talking to the people you've already been talking to. You've got to maintain that pipeline. And you've got to continue adding people to that pipeline. But it's so consistent habits is one. And I think the other is a lack of structure, which I guess is a very similar answer to consistent habits, but structure behind how you organize the information that comes your way. What are you going to do with it? You want to go do a teacher event. Well, okay, well, what's the plan after the event? Because if you're just going to go do a beginning of the school year teacher event, but you don't have a marketing follow-up plan for those contacts, then you just wasted whatever, $500 on breakfast. So let's create a system on what you're going to do over the long haul so that you become that person that they know, love, and trust.
So great. And I could not agree more. Just a little bit of extra effort. Let's be honest, some agents are just lazy.
Yeah. There are agents out there that are lazy, but I think it's also there are agents that just get busy.
Totally.
And a lot of times they get busy on the wrong
Yes.
things.
Busy.
They get busy on trying to find new ideas to generate business instead of just really digging in and having a plan for the business that you already have right at your fingertips.
Right. The first thing I say when I have an agent, they're like, hey, I need help getting new business. And I was like, well, where did your last 5 closings come from? If you have one final tip for anyone who is where you were, you're solo, whether out of necessity or you're just ambitious and want to grow, any other tips you haven't mentioned for, starting, growing a team?
Take a moment and write down how you want things done. That's my number one tip, because you have to sometimes take a step back to take a step forward. Yes. And if you can pause yourself for long enough to be able to create a process on how you want something done, it's replicable. And then you're replicating yourself. You're not just bringing in warm bodies. You're bringing in agents that are going to act to your clients as a team leader like you would act to your clients. And that's really important, but you have to pause and you have to say, I'm going to write this down right now, because if you wait and you're trying to do it all at one time, it really just gets a little bit exhausting. So when we figured out how to stop breaking it completely and rebuilding it, and instead just tweaking it and modifying it, is when we really started to grow. And make sure that you find people that have the same core values as you have to surround yourself with. And so the first step with that is figuring out what are your core values, right? And you have to do a little self-reflection on that. But then you have to bring people into your world that want to do business the way that you want to do business.